Okay. So how is everybody doing other than those battling mosquitoes and rain? Everyone else is good? Yeah. I don't necessarily have a topic for today. I know everyone's kind of been working on their site speed and web core vitals. So we can talk about that, or if anybody has like any specific questions or things that they're trying to figure out, we can do that too. So I'm just gonna hand it over to y'all. Diane, you're back. You go first.
So it's not really an SEO-ish question, but I've seen it asked in multiple groups lately. And I think I know the answer, but I want to get opinion. With regards to, you know, the whole internal, external linking, do you open an internal link in a new window? We've always done, if it's internal, it's same window. If it's external, it's a new window for mobile purposes.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen Mike Pearson comment on that. I've seen Mark Wilcox comment on that. But then I've seen in other groups where people are advising, no, internal links should open in a new window. So I kind of want to get the feeling for where this actually does sit.
I don't think for SEO purposes, like rankability, I don't think it matters.
No,
I think it's more of a personal preference. Yeah. I personally have them open in a new window. I started doing that just because I realized that's how I like it. When I click on things, I don't want to lose my place of what I'm reading.
Right.
So if it opens in a new way, especially on my phone, then I can just hit and then go back to the previous screen, right? So I think, and personally, and this is just my opinion, I mean, I'm not a geek specialist, but Google's whole thing right now is user experience. And so I would think, but I haven't seen that as any kind of grading criteria.
No, I'm thinking more for user experience, because I know that the big issue initially, the reason why people were saying to do it that way was so mobile users don't have like 20 different windows open on their phone. But like you, sometimes I like when I can just close that window and go back to where I was.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of torn. That's why I kind of wanted to get opinion on it, because
I've just been doing open new window for everything now. If it's in my internal links, because I want them to come back and finish reading the post. And of course, we always do it for external links. So I just, over time, I've adapted. Everything opens in a new window. Yeah. But again, I don't think it's a grading factor for anything, at least not now. Yeah.
Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah. I mean, you know, like next week they'll change everything and we all have to go back and write new courses to update on everything new. So, all right. Who's next? Christine, we haven't seen you in a while. How are you?
Sorry, I had myself muted. I'm good. Just trying to stay busy and get finished with the summer to start back to school. So,
yes,
trying to blog as much as I can over the summer.
There you go. And Lynn, how are you doing?
Okay.
Good.
I'm also here for inspiration. But there's no rain here. We're actually we're in forest fires in Alberta and BC and Canada. So lots of forest fires right now. So we could use rain. Pray for rain.
We all have our weather issues, you know.
I do have a question, Leanne, about images.
Okay.
So because I also do photography, right? So what is the best way to SEO your images?
Okay, so images, okay. So on a website, it is important to understand that, you know, blind people also read websites, which is kind of weird to say that. And so the biggest thing with images, well, there's a couple of things. One, when you upload it, you have that alt text box. Now, if you use Yoast or Rank Math, it's going to tell you got to put your keyword. The keyword's not in the alt text. Tell Yoast and Rank Math to go fly a kite. Don't pay no mind to that. The alt text is what you put in there describes the image. Now, if the image is just ornamental, like it's just flowers, you could just say whatever. But if it's describing something like a picture of a woman on her knees praying, a mother holding her baby, right? Like an actual, like what you do, photography kind of stuff, then you want to, in the alt text, describe it. Don't worry about your keywords. Describe the image. That's what that is for. That is very important for ADA compliance, which I guess is becoming a big thing now. So as you go back and update older posts and things like that, working on changing images, just make sure that you now put in a good alt text description, whether or not. Now, if you can finagle the keyword into it, for example, like if the post was about, I don't know, prayers for someone going into surgery, or prayers for surgery, right? Or praying, a prayer journal, that's an easy one, prayer journal. Woman sitting on the couch reading her prayer journal. Like if she's sitting there reading a journal, and it's probably not technically a journal, but you put that picture in the post about a prayer journal, you could get your keyword in there, but don't make the point to get the keyword in the alt text, make the point to describe the image. So that's number one. Number two with images, upload JPEG, not PNGs. PNGs are very heavy files. JPEGs are a fraction of that. Of course, in photography, the PNGs are higher quality. So when you're actually delivering it, you can deliver it as a PNG, like if you have it in a folder somewhere. But for the purposes of the display on your page, make sure it's a JPEG. Also, a big thing, I know, and this was beyond me because I don't do this because I'm blind as a bat, but I know some people do all of their, like, do WordPress on their phones. I just don't understand how you could do that, but some people do. And so people taking pictures with their phone and uploading those pictures from their phone directly into WordPress is a bad idea because of the pixelation and how heavy those files can be. And so a recommended practice, like if you use Canva, for example, pick one template. So like I use the blog banner. And so my featured image, I don't put my pinnable image in the post, it's hidden, but the images that I put on the page, I always use blog banner. So if I download something from Adobe stock, it could be like 4,000 by 7,000, right? The size of it, and it's a super big file. And so by uploading it into that blog banner and then saving it as a JPEG, it downsizes it even more. And so that way they're always the same size that you're uploading. But then on top of that, it's very important that you have a good image optimization plugin. We used to recommend Smush back before all this crazy Web Core Vital. Smush did the job for a long time, but it doesn't do the job anymore. Short Pixel seems to be a really good option. And it's pretty inexpensive. It's like $50 for the whole year. And it does the lazy loading, the optimization to all the stuff beyond what you can do to make sure that it loads fast, but also doesn't impact your page load time and all of that. So I don't know if that was enough answer, or if you were looking for something additional.
Just wondering about, so you have the text alt, but then you have caption, right? Is that where you put the keyword in?
No. So caption is,
So I'm trying to remember, because there's the three, when you're doing the images, why I use Yoast, but there's the three, you can put text alt.
So I'm going to pull one up. Hold on. Wait, no, I don't want that. Faster. Switch to block editor. So when you upload something in here, let's just, I don't know, find a picture of something. Okay, so I have Tasty Pins, which gives you these blocks here, but I don't use Tasty Pins anymore. I'm slowly moving away from that. So you're going to have alt text, title, caption, description, right?
Right.
So the alt text is telling the blind reader what the picture is. Now, in what I was saying, sometimes you don't have to describe the actual picture. This literally is an Advent reading plan. So that's what the alt text is, right? I don't need to put Advent reading plan with the word Advent written in red and green presents on the corner. I don't go that. I mean, it's literally an Advent reading plan. Whereas this one is 2 antique stopwatches laying in the sand on a beach, right? Whatever. So for the title, now I have mine set to where they're not, they're excluded from my sitemap, but when you're uploading them, the alt text is what's important. You can give it a title, the title of your post, whatever. The caption, however, so I'm gonna choose this one. The caption is where if you were giving like photo credit to the image or something, whatever you write in caption is going to be visible.
Okay.
Alt text is not visible. The title and the description is not visible. That's back end stuff. But caption, and you can also, if you don't do it when you're in the editor, once you upload it in there, then you can just come down here and write hello or whatever.
Yeah, I usually do that. I didn't realize that it was connected like that.
Yeah.
So it really, for SEO, it doesn't matter what's in the title, or is the title important for the SEO?
No, I mean, there's times when you want to fill out all those other blocks. Like, so things people actually search for as images, like they do things that somebody would do an image search for, an Advent Bible reading plan. You would want to put your good SEO stuff in the title, in the description. Of course, in this case, the SEO, the alt text also is the same thing. That helps it rank in search image results, but just regular pictures. People aren't going to go to Google to look for a picture. I mean, they might, but that it doesn't relate to what your blog posts are about. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
The only other question I had was, I think I'm using Net Gallery
For what?
The images.
As it's a plugin, a gallery plugin.
Yeah, but that's, as I thought it actually also what's the word I'm looking for? Shrunk the images, well, kept it more. So
No,
the
you
speed
need
would
it.
still be.
Yeah, it'll condense it a bit to fit into the gallery blocks, but it doesn't actually compress the file.
Okay.
You need an actual file compression tool, which is like, again, Short Pixel is the one that is recommended right now. It seems to be doing, and when I say recommended, the Web Core Vitals that everyone's talking about right now, that just came out in like the last month or so, and it was big. And so a lot of tools we used before were doing the job, but Google changed the game because that's what they do. And so a lot of the tools that we were using, the developers of those tools are now having to jump through hoops to get their tool up to speed with the new requirements, right? And so a lot of them are taking a little longer than normal because their tools, the plugins, and so themes are another one. We're so heavy with CSS and scripting that they almost need to create a brand new one versus trying to sort out and get rid of some of what was there. And that's why it's taken so long. So Short Pixel has been a really good one. I'm sure there's other ones. That's just the only one I use, and that a lot of people I know have been using that has gotten their site speed. Site speed is huge, especially if you're going to have a lot of images on your site. That is something that you have to take, prioritize, because images will weigh down your site loading.
Okay, and my readers are expecting images from me. Like, that's really what they comment on most. So, okay, and blog banner, what is that? Like, what do you mean by blog banner?
In Canva, it's just a template size in Canva.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, you just upload it in there and it puts it in a specific size that you can download. Yeah, like when I take things from, am I sharing? No, I'm not sharing. Where's a good one? So, okay, I deleted everything. Oh, you know what? I have, so if you look here, like when you download high quality images, like I use Adobe stock, but your images that you take with your camera is going to be high pixelation and everything. So let's use this one. So the size of this directly downloaded, and anyone who takes from like Pixabay or Unsplash or any of those kind of sites, this one says the dimensions are 5616 by 3744, but the size of the file is 6.75 megabytes. So if I take this, what's up, baby? I don't have any more food for you. And Adobe. So remember, 6.7 megabytes. So I'm going to upload this one now into and why is my screen so big? To JPEG. So 6.75 megabytes down to 354 kilobytes.
The 354. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got Creative Cloud and everything, Leanne. So
Yeah, again, you happen to use Canva, but whatever you use, you just want to make sure that it's just taking it down a notch so the file is not so huge. Because the thing is, just like with your computer has so much storage space, right? Which is why you should go in and clean out your recycle bin and all that. Your server for your website and WordPress and everything has a capacity for storage. And so the bigger files you put on it, it takes up that space a lot faster. And so, yes, the image compression tools will help, but you should still be uploading smaller sizes to begin with. So from there, it takes it down an even another notch.
So is there an actual file size that they recommend at all? Stay in
small.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm always high. Yeah. Because I just love my images, really high images quality, just because I look at a pixelated one and it drives me crazy. But
yeah, but again, and if you're giving people the images like they're downloading it, that's different. You upload the high quality one to like a cloud drive somewhere, but to put it on your physical website, it's really about storage capacity for your server, and eating up all the resources
and speed.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
So I have a question about the tasty pins, because you said you're moving away from that. Is there something you're doing instead, or how is it?
Well, and it's not that Tasty Pins is bad. I started using the Grow by Mediavine sharing plugin. So if you're using Shareaholic, I would get rid of that. Shareaholic is so heavy with CSS. And on a lot of the people's sites that have it, that I've helped them with their page speed tester and all that stuff, that's the one thing that kept coming up was Shareaholic. And we've known it was a heavy one anyway, but people like it because it's free. Well, free is also hurtful sometimes. But the Grow by Mediavine, I like it. It's like $34 a year. But it was developed by Mediavine, which right now is the only ad network that is not impacting site speed. All the other ones have not gotten it with the program. And so they created it to be lightweight. And so anyway, long story short, I use that. Built into it is the ability to do all the stuff that Tasty Pins does with the hiding of the images. And so I'm just slowly moving to that one so I can slowly get rid of the taste. Like when everything new only goes grow. When I update older posts, I remove the image from the Tasty Pins little section and put the new image in the Grow. So I'm just slowly phasing it out. Not because it's bad. So if you're using it, I'm not saying don't use it, it's bad. It's just the new plugin I'm using for something else, and I'm a 2-for-1 kind of person. So instead of having two plugins, I get both functions with one single plugin. Yeah.
So what is the Shareaholic plugin? I don't think I have that one. So
no, however, like at the end of a post where people can share it to Facebook or Pinterest or Twitter or whatever. Yeah. It's a sharing plugin.
And Grow with Mediavine does that.
Yeah. So Mediavine's an ad company, but they're also creating other types of plugins, themes, products, different things, and their plugin for social sharing is highly optimized. And so I started using that last year sometime, and I really like it. No, Chalice, they don't have, I wish they did. They don't even offer an affiliate program. So you just go to their site and download it, pay for it. And I think it's $34 a year. And you can, have the floating scroll on the side as well as the one at the end of the post. It's really good. It loads a lot faster than some of the other ones I've used in the past. Like when they hit the button, like how long it takes for it to pop up. Yeah.
Hey, Leanne.
You said that you
Hold on, Karen. Chalice, what were you saying?
So you said you use that for your share and like for your Tasty Pen, it replaces your Tasty Pen as well?
Yeah, so once you install it, hold on. Where's my? So I'm just in a page here, whatever. So this was the Tasty Pens, right? You upload your image. When you install the Grow plugin, you get this, it's part of it. And so you can do a Facebook image. I don't use this one because my featured image automatically becomes my Facebook share image. But I instead of uploading it to Tasty Pens, I upload it here and make it hidden.
Perfect.
Yeah, so it just does the exact same thing, but in the same plugin.
That's great. Thanks.
Okay, Karen, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you're fine. Hey, so I have Tasty Pens and I've not been using it. Can I just, I mean, I did earlier, but I haven't lately. Can I just deactivate and delete that plugin? Or do I need to go back and do anything with those old posts?
Well, if you deactivate the plugin, then if you had like a hidden image in that post, it just wouldn't be there anymore. Once you remove the plugin, it'll remove whatever it's done. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. I just want to make sure. And then, did you post a list of I'm trying to remember where I saw it now, a list of like good plugins to have or some to avoid? Because I know there's, I think Doug had posted like a lot of hacks and different things that have happened, different plugins that have vulnerabilities and some that we need to update. I'm always scared to update my plugins because it never fails. I mess something up.
Well, the thing with plugins, so everyone's always like, can you tell me the top 5 plugins I need? I'm like, well, plugins are subjective. It's like to tell me the top 5 apps you need on your iPhone. Like, well, it depends on what you do on a daily basis, right? I mean, there are plugins. Okay, so you absolutely need an image compression like ShortPixel. So you absolutely need a caching plugin like WP Rocket. Beyond that, of course, if you use Yoast or Rank Math, you want an SEO plugin. All those extra plugins, Akismet would probably be one to help minimize your spam and your comments. All the other plugins are going to be respective to your theme, to what you're doing on your site. Like there's plugins you might need that I don't need because I don't do the thing you're trying to do with yours. But it's important to understand every new plugin you add also adds weight to your, like it adds to your loading time. Right? Now, when it comes to vulnerabilities, every single plugin, including the ones I just mentioned, are vulnerable. If you're on the internet, you're vulnerable. We're all vulnerable right here sitting on the internet, right? It's just the nature of the game. Even Facebook has been hacked, right? We think Facebook's like the be all to end all to social media and they know everything, but even they've been hacked. So it's important to understand that you need good, what do you call it? Web security. So like I use WordFence. There's other ones I'm sure that work well. That's just the one I've used. But any plugin, even the best ones out there, can be hacked. That's why whenever I see when you get for one, don't have automatic updates, turn those off for your plugins. I usually wait a couple of days before I hit update, unless I've received some memo saying the newest update does this, you want to do it quickly. Like the one I just shared this week about WooCommerce, they said install the update now because it fixes the vulnerability that we just found. But in general, wait a day or two, especially with WordPress, because you just never know. I mean, the hackers are they're just smart and they're always looking for ways in. So email, any plugins that you do have, get on the email list for that plugin, right? So if you're with social or with Grow by Mediavine, make sure you're on their email list. If you have a Kismet, whatever you have, which is going to lead to a lot of emails. So you might want to create an email address just for all your plugins. I don't know. But they will let you know. That's how I find out. WordFence also, even if you don't use WordFence, you can sign up for their email. That is how I find out about all the new vulnerabilities, even for stuff that I don't use, so that I can share it with y'all because some of y'all use these plugins. But at the end of the day, keep your plugins to a minimum. Don't run out and get a new plugin for everything you're trying to do. If you can do it manually, such as installing your Google Analytics tracking code, do it manually. And only put on your site what's absolutely necessary when it comes to plugins. So, but there's not like a list. I can't put a list and say you need these top 10 plugins to be successful, because some of you may need them, some of you may not, and you may need a different one because of the theme you're using or whatever. So does that make sense? I know that was a lot.
No, that makes perfect sense. And that's kind of what I was thinking. I just wanted to make sure there's not one that's like horrible, like, you know, whatever you do, don't use this one.
No, I mean,
I did get rid of my WooCommerce just because I'm going with something different. So
yeah, and that's the thing with if you're selling stuff. Okay, so there's two types of websites. There's blogs. So like most of us who mostly blog, and we also sell a few things, right? And then there's e-commerce websites. Like the whole point of the website is not for you to read me, but for you to buy something. For most of us, I really don't recommend using a plugin such as WooCommerce or any of those things. Set up your products wherever you sell them. If you sell them on Etsy, great. I also recommend you sell them elsewhere so you can offer an affiliate program such as Gumroad or Payhip or something like that. Just create your shop using Gutenberg blocks. You don't need a plugin to be able to sell stuff, right? And so you create your listings on, you know, your shop page or whatever, and just link it to Etsy, link into one to your Etsy listing. You don't need WooCommerce to do all that. You don't need Shopify. You don't need all that stuff. Especially if you just have a few products. Again, if your site is a blog and you also sell stuff, then I would not add all that extra, because one, it creates a lot of extra work for you, but it also presents a lot of new vulnerabilities that you have to deal with. Also, it's important to understand you are not going to make most of your sales through your shop page, right? I don't go Google, I wonder what Karen's selling on her shop today, right? People don't Google that. What is your site is Warrior Women blog, right? Warrior
Yes.
Women blog shop. Nobody's Googling that. I mean, you might have a
Right.
few people that do that. What are people doing? They are looking for how to pray about something or whatever. And in when they get to your post, because they found it on page 1 when they searched, and it's about prayer, and you in that post say, hey, if you really want to track your prayers for this, whatever it is, you might want to check out my prayer journal. That's how more people are going to buy your prayer journal. They're not going to buy it from your shop. And so a lot of people put all this effort into creating this beautiful shop, and it's like building a fancy store out in the middle of a farm field where nobody's going, right? Like, put those products in the content where there is traffic of people looking for something related to what the product is. That's how you're going to have more success selling your stuff. And all that can be done with Gutenberg. And again, I love Etsy because Etsy is a marketplace. You can put your stuff there and forget about it. You can do SEO well, and Etsy will do great. I make about $200 a month on my 5 coloring books from Etsy.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, I mean, because somehow I managed to figure out the SEO. I don't even know how I did that. So don't ask me for, help me do that too, because it just happened. But part of that is from my affiliates. So I can't offer an affiliate program through Etsy because Etsy mostly doesn't approve Christian bloggers for their affiliate program, even though they can sell their stuff there, but that's another story. So my same stuff on Etsy, I also have listed on Gumroad, and every day I make sales. And when I look at the sale thing, it's a referral from one of my affiliates. And that's why I'm a big proponent of offering an affiliate program if you're going to sell stuff, because why should you have to do all the work? Take advantage of everybody else's reach and audience as well, and let them share some of the workload for recommending your products. Good?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, what else y'all got? I'm pumped up on caffeine this morning. Jeannie laughs. I'm serious. Okay. Nothing? Really? Y'all got nothing? We didn't meet last. What did we do last week? Oh, I went out with my family.
I do have a question.
Go ahead.
Okay. So, you know, I just came through boot camp. So I'm trying to make sure my SEO, get all my my users and all that. So I should not worry about capturing emails for at least 6 months to a year. I don't need to have any of that on my site, correct? Because I'm giving away freebies now, like different little printables.
Yeah.
But you just hit the button and it downloads it. So I'm just asking.
Yeah. So unlike most blogging bloggers, I feel you should not start building your email list from day one, because building and nurturing an email list requires a plan.
Mm-hmm.
And until you've got your blog plan under control, you ain't got time to be working on another plan, right? Finish one thing first. But more so than that, to get the right people on your list, you need the right traffic coming to your blog, right? And so I say do it for a year. Traffic, traffic, traffic. And then at the end of the year, 12 months, whenever that end of 12 months is for you, it doesn't have to be December, right? Then you look back over the last year and you see what are my top 5 organic traffic sources, like which posts are getting the most traffic. What's the search query? What is something I could create simple that sort of relates to that search query, and turn that into an opt-in? Put it in those posts. People are already coming to that page. You're going to start getting those. And same thing with affiliate links, but for subscribers. But here's the thing. And so many people are like, well, I have an email list. I probably have 100 people on it. And I mean, if I remember, I email them. Well, then why are you doing it? Right? You do email them and they're like, who dis? Like, I don't even know who you are. Right? Also, like, I don't even know what to say to them. Right? Again, it takes a plan.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to put the right opt-ins to get the right people, because you could have 1,000 people join your list and none of them really want to talk to you. They just, right, whatever. So, or maybe they wanted to, but then what you sent them on Monday, they're like, what? Why is she sending me this? Right? That's has nothing to do with why I signed up. So you create opt-ins based on who's coming to get them on your list, but then you have a plan. Like, what's my point? The point, here's 3 reasons for having an email list. And one of them is not because that's what people say we're supposed to do, right? Somebody actually told me that. Why do you have an email list? I don't know, because that's what they said bloggers are supposed to do. I was like, no. Number 1, build community, right? Most of us, especially in the Christian blogging, are trying to pour into people, like that weekly coffee conversation, biblical, scriptural pouring into. Number 2, to get more traffic back to your blog. For those who are trying to eventually apply to ad networks, sessions matter. People go Google something, they land on a blog post, they might sign up for your email, but they're not coming back. They're not groupies. They're not like, ooh, where's the post she posts on Monday? I'm sitting here waiting at the front door. It just doesn't work that way. I mean, there are a few people who do that, but generally speaking, it's not. So how you build more traffic aside from SEO is you build that email list. You send them what? Links to stuff on your blog. It could be the newest blog post, but as we talked about in the boot camp, we do the 3-month out thing. So you're sending them stuff that's relevant to right now. So that's number 2. So 1 is community. 2 is traffic, more traffic to your site. And then number 3 is for those who are trying to make money with their blogs, subtle marketing. every email should not be, hey, you need to buy this. Hey, you need to buy this, right? There's subtle ways. And we've talked about that, like putting things in your basic email structure that are extra resources that they might want, whatever. So those are the 3 things. But if you want those 3 things to happen, you got to have a plan. You can't just be like, oh, it's Monday. What should I tell my people today? Right? You don't call a meeting together and then be like, okay, what do y'all want to talk about today? I mean, I kind of do that, but that's how our Friday things are. But for the most part, you don't do that, right? So you can't do that and effectively create and do the plan for your blog at the same time. You just can't. I mean, you can, but you're going to have a lot of gray hair. And you're probably going to be mad and yell at your kids, and your husband's not going to like you and all that stuff, right? Just focus on one thing. Put all 100% into traffic, traffic, traffic. At the end of the year, evaluate, create a plan, and then start on phase 2, which is building and nurturing that list. And I guarantee you, because people are like, they put all this effort into creating these beautiful opt-ins, and they're like, but nobody's signing up. I'm like, well, do you even have any traffic? Well, no. Well, that's why nobody's signing up, right? Traffic, traffic, traffic. And giving away those freebies is great. That is one thing that people have commented back to my emails all the time, especially in the early days, why they keep coming back. They look forward to my emails now. It's because I give away so much free stuff, right? Gotcha. And so spending the year creating all that free stuff can also set the stage for doing something with it later. House them in a library, right? You have them in the individual posts. Make sure you have a resource page that you can link in those emails when you do finally get the emails. But a lot of that stuff too, at some point, depending on what it is, you've spent a whole year creating stuff. Now look at what you've got and say, how can I turn one of these into an opt-in? Do I have some stuff here that I could probably turn into a paid product? Remember the free, better, best that we talked about in the boot camp? Spend the whole year instead of sitting down and say, okay, this month I am going to create this massive thing. No, span that time out over the whole year creating it when you're not really thinking about it. And next thing you know, you have everything you need to either get those subscribers and or possibly start earning some income with a product of your own.
Okay. Well, I will say, I started pretty much, I think 1st of July was when I started. And actually I just looked at my Google Analytics. I actually have 33 sessions. I had 0 and I'm like, wow, I'm going up a little. So
it works. Yeah. Traffic, traffic, traffic. It's all about the traffic. Traffic is the soil for everything else you're going to do. You want subscribers? Well, you want the right subscribers. You don't just want random people. You want people who want to hear from you, right? It's better to say I have 200 active subscribers than to say I have 5,000 subscribers and only 10% of them open my emails, right? So bringing the right people, you do that by writing content directed to your avatar. They're coming because they search for you. Therefore, when you offer something that they need, they're going to join you via email. But then when you're ready to affiliate marketing, creating your own products, any part of that monetization, well, you've already laid the soil for that fruit. You don't throw a prayer journal in a post about chores, right? They came looking for chore charts, not prayer. They probably need prayer dealing with all those kids, but that's not why they came. It would be like if you went into Victoria's Secret or Pink, I shop Pink because that's more my style, right? And there was like fishing attire. Now I would probably buy that because I buy fishing clothes, like, the fishing t-shirt, but that's not why people go in there. They go in there for the panties and the cute workout clothes, right? They're not going for fishing clothes. And so the best product put in the wrong place is not going to work. So you take the guesswork out of it and it all comes back to serving your audience. Serve, serve, serve. Then when you get ready to start growing all that fruit, that service has already laid the foundation for those fruits to prosper. If you go at it like, and I'm not saying you, in general, people are like, I just launched my blog. How come I'm not making any money? It's like, well, 1, you're making it all about the money. But 2, how are you serving your audience? Don't make it about that. Make it about satisfying their search queries, and everything else you do in that will follow suit without you even having to bat an eyelash, really. So, all right. Woo, we got some new people. Kimberly, Holly. Hi, Holly.
Hi.
Somebody just put a question in the chat. Hold up. This is my, it was Holly.
Yeah.
Looking to optimize my sites after reviewing the sites. Be looking to change hosting to a larger plan and reading. SiteGround is going downhill. So I wouldn't say that SiteGround is going downhill. It is important to understand that not all hosting is equal. SiteGround is still doing a good job. I mean, again, everyone got caught kind of off guard with this Web Core Vitals thing when it rolled. I mean, we kind of did. Everybody knew it was coming, but people were like, I got time. And then boom, it's like, here I am. And so most of the people that I know using SiteGround, they're not having any issues as long as they're using like WP Rocket and Short Pixel and doing all the on-site stuff that they should be doing to their website, like getting rid of unnecessary plugins, uploading the images in the right way, understanding that your sidebar could be the problem and things like that. So what I will say is SiteGround's SG Optimizer, that is not a good plugin. Get rid of it and get like Short Pixel and WP Rocket. I have an article that I'll share where I break all that down and the things that you can do on your end, you need to do combined with, but this is no matter what hosting. Now I will say, if you're with HostGator, you need to get away from them. They are absolutely the worst. I've had two people, one in my membership, she was trying to convert so you know how you have AT&T, you have all the companies that give you your Wi-Fi and internet, and sometimes you leave one for the other because it's just slow. Like in my home, there's 4 of us and we're all streaming something at any given time. And so I went from AT&T to, I don't know, something else. I'm with Grande now. The server has a capacity. And if the server is not, like, what do we have for phones now? Like 5G or whatever, right? You need to be 5G. It's not called 5G, but we understand what 5G means, right? So some hosts like HostGator are, I don't know, they're maybe like 1G from what I can see. This one girl, she's in my membership. It's taken her a week to get her site transferred. Transferring from one host to another should be like overnight. And hers, it took literally a week and it was horrible. So I still recommend SiteGround. I do not recommend Bluehost. I've never recommended Bluehost. Well, I did a long time ago. There are some other ones I've heard that are good, like Name Hero. I am now on Big Scoots, but that's not because I didn't like SiteGround anymore. My site gets over 100,000 sessions a month. And so the server capacity for how much traffic I was getting, I needed a server that could better manage that much traffic. But if I was not quite there yet, I would still be on SiteGround.
All right. I do have SiteGround.
Okay.
And I have one website, but my blog has been a hobby. I'm actually more of a service-oriented blogger.
Okay.
And so I've been doing photography and VA work, and it's over on Wix. And I did the speech test on Wix, which was worse than my blog. And I'm like, you know what? Let's just bring it all.
What is your blog on? WordPress?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's the one with the Divi theme. And so as I started doing the deep dive on the Divi theme,
Divi is horrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I wanted to remove it from the blog and optimize the blog for traffic, and then use Divi theme for my services because it just needs to be pretty. I don't need traffic. I just need a landing zone.
Right.
And then use like Astra or one of the ones that you recommended, Cadence, I believe.
Cadence, Astra. I use Astra Pro. Yeah. So anyone using Divi, I feel sorry for Divi. They're probably going to take a profit loss this quarter. It's very heavy. And so if you can get out of that, I definitely, which will take a bit, because when you build with Divi, you can't just put a new theme on it. Like you literally have to kind of rebuild. But here's the thing. And you mentioned doing it on your service site. If you, Gutenberg, that's the beauty of Gutenberg, the blocks, you can literally just build it out. Like you don't need those fancy page builders because everything you add adds, right? Adds weight. I know some people are using Elementor with Astra just for additional. If you do use those, the Elementor, the divvies and things, only use it for like building your homepage. Don't use it to build out individual blog posts and things like that, because then you're adding to every single page. I mean, Gutenberg is blocks. Like you can make it look so pretty and you're like, what did you use? And I'm like, I just built it with Gutenberg, right? Because you can make the colors, you can make, there's widgets, there's advanced blocks, there's all kinds of stuff you can do. Now, as far as Wix, I had someone on Squarespace. They just converted over to WordPress, which was a little deal because it's 2 different platforms. But the non-WordPress platforms are really struggling right now to make the web core vitals, because the optimization and everything is done on their own server, which is kind of part of the problem. So
I'm in a good position because I don't have a lot of traffic and I don't have a lot of content. I'm a mom with 4 kids and COVID hit and I haven't done anything for the last 2 years. So I could essentially start from scratch. I can just kind of, like I just don't have the page views. I don't have that many blog posts. And again, the service oriented piece, I just need a landing zone. So again, I could use Divi as the home page, maybe a landing page, but I built all my posts in the Gutenberg.
Okay, good.
Just be aware with Divi, one of the things, because I actually switched someone over from Divi to Elementor, which was a better move, but Divi leaves a lot of code behind.
Yeah.
So you really got to comb through the site to make sure all that code is gone. If you want to use Elementor like for a landing page or for like a sales page, one of the things that you can do that won't weigh down your main site is create a subdomain and have that be your tripwire page, your sales page, and it won't take resources away from your main site. You could still pretty it up with Elementor without having that added weight. But I just wanted to let you know, just watch out for that code that you might find in odd spaces throughout your site from Divi. It has a really, it's really pretty bad.
It's kind of like when your kid spills glitter and you think you got it all, and then you suddenly are like, where did this glitter come from? That's what Divi does.
That's exactly what it is.
I just saw a plugin that helps you go through and find all the short codes that are left.
Okay.
It was from someone who got rid of Divi, and they were like, there was 11 little short codes all left throughout. So
Yeah.
I planned on doing that, but I do need to look more into the subdomains. Like I do pretty and creative. That's why I'm on the call. I don't know this stuff. So.
And just so you know, like with, if you really just want to get away from Divi altogether to not deal with their headache, like Astra Pro and even Cadence, I think they have templates that you can, when you buy the Pro, it comes with these beautiful templates, which are what people are using for like their homepage, landing page. So you don't have to like I'm one of those, I just want to buy the wreath from the store because like I just don't have time to put it together. But some people aren't creative enough to put it together, right? And so you can buy ready for you, and then you just edit it to your colors and things. And so those templates are really good, but they're part of the Astra theme as well. And I think Cadence has some too. So just some
Cadence
ideas.
does have it.
Yeah. But yeah, go ahead, Jeannie. Did you have a question?
Yeah, I'm just worried, and I probably missed this in boot camp. Why do you not like Bluehost?
Just they're horrible. I mean, if you have it and you're not experiencing issues, that's fine. Here's the thing with Bluehost. They offer one of the cheapest rates, and therefore everybody wants them. And therefore their server gets overloaded, and it's definitely not 5G to begin with. And so they overload their capacity. When I had used them back in the day, my site would go down every week for like half a day. I'm like, what? Why can't I log in? And then here's the worst part. They would try to tell me the only way to fix it was to upgrade to a higher plan when I wasn't even getting any traffic to begin with. People were very shady on the chat, like always trying to get you to buy more. Bluehost is, again, some people use Bluehost with no problem. So if that's you, great. But if you go through a poll of Bluehost compared to other hosting, who has the most reports of sites, not crashing, but my site is down, Bluehost is number one. Right before Black Friday, 4 years ago, my site went down. Right before Black Friday for 5 days, I could not get it open. Yeah, and that was when my last straw. And that's when I went to SiteGround. Again, some people do fine with it, but Bluehost has been notorious for causing issues. Also, and I don't know anyone on Bluehost now to see how their server response time for Web Core Vitals is doing. So I don't know. I just know I don't have time for headaches, and Bluehost gave me a headache from like day one. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
All right. What else? What else? What else? What else? This is one of those where I just called you here and I'm like, okay, what are we going to do today?
I had a couple questions, Leanne.
Okay.
The one you were talking about, the things that we create, the printables and stuff. And if we're not yet ready to develop our email list, do we make that area open to people, or do we just post them within the blog post, or what do we do as we're creating them? Do we just hold them back?
Yeah, so, and that's a good question, because a lot of people are like, I created all this stuff and it's for my email list. I don't want to just give it to people. Well, you know, those free samples at the cookie company, they keep making us come back because they keep giving us free samples, right? So one, if you have something specific to a post, put it in that post as just a download. Click link and it downloads from your cloud drive, right? Don't upload it to your media library. Do a shareable link to your cloud drive. But you can also create a resource page or resource library, whatever you want to call it. Let's say it's, I don't know, Bible reading plans, whatever, or Bible verses about this or that, or printable, whatever it is. Create a page, and all those ones you're creating for the individual blog post, create a resource page that houses all of them. And that one, the link to that page, you can put in those hosts. Hey, if you want some additional of these, whatever they are, printables, be sure to visit our library, right? And so that's your, like what I was saying, the gathering phase, just spend the whole year creating all this stuff, but house them in one place so that you have them all together for use at a later time to decide what to do with them. And that way, okay. And again, like, I am not a fan of password protected libraries. If you create something on a page, not post, but page, the only way people can get to it is if you put a link out there, either on your blog or you send the link in email. So you don't necessarily have to put the password on it. So once you do start building your email list, remember what I was talking about sessions. Part of the reason for an email list, number 2 reason was to get sessions back to your blog. If you create a permanent spot in your email that stays the same, even though the top part is like what you're talking about this week, that permanent place, it's like additional resources for whatever. Mine is Bible study resources. It links to some of the resource pages as well as some specific like types of blog posts that I consider resources. Those links get clicked every single time I send an email out. Right? So gathering the stuff for this first year, just give the stuff away. People love free stuff. They'll keep coming back because your site is known to give free stuff. And that's how you get them hooked, so to speak, so that when you do turn it into an opt-in, they're going to want to join you because they know that you have really great stuff. Right? And so that's kind of how I would go about that.
Okay, that's great. I have a password protected one, but I have minimal traffic. I just transferred from Wix, which was awful, over to WordPress a few months ago. And I'm actually transferring my whole purpose. I was a professional organizer and I just had a little minimal blog, and I'm actually, I work as a nurse full time. So my plate was too full. Mm-hmm. And so I'm not doing organizing anymore. I really, really wanted to incorporate Christian principles into that, but I really couldn't find a good fit with organizing and Christian principles because it's kind of not exactly fitting. So my blog is now all about simplicity, living a simple life. So I'm kind of just transitioning and I need to write. And I'm just trying to pick up what I love the way you're telling us to do this, by the way. I just love it because it's like one thing at a time. And that's all I have time for anyway. but I'm just really, I do have a little bit of an email list that was kind of hung over from my organizing, but I don't think there are people that are really interested in what I'm talking about now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to probably just let them go, and then I'll start up again after, like next summer or something.
Well, and one thing, so it may get loud here. Of course, my neighbor decides to mow his yard right now. Moment, he's literally right outside my window. One thing too, about the whole password protected, and I know this is contradictory to what most people teach, but it works. Again, you create stuff. Your goal is to serve your audience. So serve them, give them the free samples, right? These free samples are also a great way to get traffic. So I don't know if you were with us when I was doing the part about the image, alt text for images and image searches. Printables are things people search.
I need to know about that.
Yeah. So, okay. So I had a page I had started off because I didn't know any better. And it was like only for my subscribers and I didn't have any. So nobody, like that page was just a dead page, like had all this great stuff, but nobody was seeing it because I wasn't getting traffic. So I unlocked it, created some Pinterest pins. Of course, Pinterest was cool back then. I mean, it's not really cool right now. Hopefully it'll be cool again in the future, but share it on Facebook, right? This is my resource library of all these free printables. Now you're getting traffic to that page, right? And they're seeing the other stuff while you're working on things. And later, after that traffic picks up, then you start working on your plan for your email list. You've got, so I have what's called the free, better, best. Like I just made that up. I mean, I don't know. I just make stuff up. Free. Give them free right there in the post. You don't have to sign up. Thanks for stopping by. Here's your free sample, right? Kind of like the cookie company does. Then you get to the better, right? So when you're ready to start building that email list, how can I make this one free thing better? The best example I can give that you can use in any kind of way, but it's easier to explain it. A Bible reading plan, right? So you have the 1-page January list of scriptures to read for January, list of scripture for February, right? So the all 12 months, your reading plan, just the page. Give that free in the post, right? Here, just download it. Thanks for stopping by. Get ready to start building your email list. How do you make that better? You have the scripture list, maybe a worksheet, maybe a prayer, maybe right? You add some pages to it. Get all this. Get it sent to your inbox every month, a new one for each month if you join my email list. So that's better. So we got free and we got better. Then let's fast forward to you're like, you know what? This is great. I got lots of subscribers. I'm ready to take it to the next level. So now we're going to best. So you take that handful of stuff that you're giving them for free. So you got the free and then free if you subscribe free, right? So that's better. You add more to it. You add, I don't know what else, but to make it this a massive bundle that they get delivered every month, and then you charge them for it. So that's your product, right? So here's free just for stopping by. If you want to join my list, I'll give you a little bit more. And that gets them in. They're like, wow, this is really great, really great. And then you're like, hey, if you really want to take your, say, Bible study to the next level, we have this 12-month Bible reading plan bundle, and here's everything that's inside it. Oh, and by the way, if you sign up in this post, you get it for half price, right? It works. I cannot tell you how much this works, but you got to lay those breadcrumbs first and get all those people coming for the free samples. Then you take it up a notch to try to get them to connect with you in your email list. Just start. And I know that's contra. People are like, you put effort, you put money, or I'm sorry, you put your time, you need to get what your time is worth. No, you need to serve your audience. Build that credibility. If you focus it all about serving them, they're naturally going to want to stay with you and be more interested when you do have a really great product to offer. And I say this as someone who has never paid for an ad in her life. I don't do Pinterest ads. I don't do Google ads. I don't do Facebook ads. I don't pay to promote anything because everything comes from the organic traffic that I get from writing content that's serving my audience. And so I call it the cheap way to blog. I don't like spending money on stuff that I don't need to. And so, but again, doing it in the right steps and not trying to do part 3 when part 1 and 2 haven't even been accomplished. Like, just go slow. Do it one thing at a time, and you will be less stressed out and have more fruitful results in the end.
That's great. Thank you.
Mhm. And those images too. Oh, you said you missed that part, so I will show you really quick.
Yeah.
How do am I sharing? So let's just talk about, I don't know, I'm just using reading plan because that was an easy one to explain. Things, and mainly because you said printables, you're doing Christian printables. Whatever your printables are, go Google them, right? And then go to images, because you notice on the content search for anything that is printable type specific, things that people look for to print out, even if they don't have the word printable on it, you're going to have this little grid here of pictures. So click over to the images. You want yours to show up here. Put this in the title, the alt text, the description. When you upload it into WordPress, that's how Google draws these image searches, because they found the image in your post and it had the right data on the back side of it. Well, I mean,
Okay.
prayer printables, prayer calendar, prayer journal, prayer whatever, prayer challenge. All you need to do your keyword research for all the types of printables and things that are in printable form, even if they don't put the word printable on it, that they would search for, and make sure you give your images the correct alt text and descriptions before you actually put them on the post. Then those images will start sending you traffic, right? I have a new site that I just launched, and literally it's like 6 weeks old. It's already getting traffic from an image search for one of the posts. It's in the #1 position for that keyword, right? Because and it was a printables type keyword. So your images themselves can be the start of the getting that more traffic. Even if your content isn't quite so SEO'd, those images can bring people to your site.
Okay. Yeah, I have to get better. I'm just ready to start working on the images, and I have to figure out how to understand how that works.
Yeah, people, I mean, printables are huge. I mean, especially now, right? Like more so maybe than in the past. Moms at home can't go to church, kids can't go to school. I mean, printables on any level have always been popular, but utilizing them correctly on your site can now boost traffic for people specifically searching for the printable itself and not so much readable content. So definitely, and I say that for you because you mentioned printables being a big part of it. Give them away. Just give them away and get the traffic, and then turn that into something bigger at a later point when the time is right.
Leanne, I just have a question about the printables then. Often I'll throw things in PDF, but are you saying to keep the printable still a JPEG, not a PDF?
When you upload it onto your blog, right? So PDFs are heavier, right? And when you upload a PDF, it doesn't show it. It just puts a file, like you click the file. Don't upload PDFs to your media library. They're heavy. If you want to deliver a PDF to them, like say it's a 3-page, in this case, Bible reading plan. It was the scripture and like 2 worksheets. It's one single PDF. I'm going to save the front page of it as there you are. A JPEG for the picture itself that's on the blog. But when they click the link, that link is going to be to a PDF that's on my cloud drive. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah. So if it's something that's like more than 1 page and it's multiple pages, a PDF is great because they get one file and they just click it, it's all there. Like I have coloring books that are multiple pages. So when I deliver it to the people, it's the PDF, but on my website, the uploaded file is JPEG because that can be condensed. The image smashing, like PDFs are not images, right? They're files. And so they're treated differently and they're heavier. And that's why I say, don't upload everything like that to your media library, store them off your site in a cloud drive and just link to the shareable link.
Okay, so those images you just showed us that were on, like when you did the Google search, were those all JPEGs then?
Most likely.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, some of them are like from Pinterest as well, Pinterest image search. But yeah, those are just, now you click it. When these come up in an image search, so I don't know, we'll just click this one. Goes to their web. You can see the website for it, right? So you click it and it's going to go to the website, wherever that is. And then from here, you can download it, I guess, on this one. I don't know how you download this one. Maybe save it as an image. That's probably just a JPEG. Other ones might be in a PDF form.
Okay, so you just gave me a lot of work because I've got even my journals as PDFs right now on my website. They're downloaded directly from my website, but you said I should actually put them on the Google Drive to download then.
Yeah, and that's simply to not weigh down take up space, right? Those files are much bigger. And so anything that's not an image that's going on the blog, if it's multiple pieces that I'm giving them, you just need a really organized cloud drive with folders for each thing and folders within folders, and then either link to the folder or link to the actual file. So when they click the link, it just opens the thing up and they hit download and whatever it is. Yeah.
Thank you.
Let me ask you something, Leanne. Good morning.
Hi, Joyce.
How are you?
Good.
At the end of my blogs, I've been creating really journals. Will this be too much to start off to just put the whole, set of journals at the end of my posts, or just a reading plan?
Do you have one already published that I can look at? Is it already on your site?
Yes.
Okay, hold on, I'm going. Where's my share? Okay, where would it be one at?
Okay, it should be one at the end of this one here.
This one, How to Count It All Joy?
Yes.
Okay.
Right there.
That's fine. But yeah. No, that's totally fine. But so this is if they sign up? Is this an opt-in or they're just getting it for free?
They're just getting it for free.
And where's the link for them to get it?
Right at the bottom, right here. You click right there.
Oh, this one?
On all of those.
Oh, okay. So what I would do, because for one, nobody knows these are clickable. If you're going to make something clickable, your hyperlink should be a different color, like a color, so people know it's clickable. Otherwise, this just looks like text. That's why I was like, but if you're giving them all of this, what's up, baby? What are you? What are you, Mama? Do you need a cookie? I got you, silly girl. Let's see. So whatever it is, right? So I'm just going to pull up one of these reading plans because there's multiple files. So let's say this, it says January, but let's say this was your Count It All Joy prayer journal. And inside this folder is all those files, everything, right? And you want to give them all of that. So instead of linking each one of these, you would say download your Count It All Joy prayer journal or something, right? And link that to, if this, instead of January, if this was your Count It All Joy folder and inside here was all those documents or all those files, then you just grab this link, get link, and then copy that. And then just put that one link there, right? Instead of each individual one, just put them all in one single folder and then they can access all of it. But more importantly, make sure that you could even make it a button, like make a pretty purple button, download the Count It All Joy prayer journal or whatever. But it needs to be obvious that they're supposed to click is what I'm saying. This is not obvious. This looks like just the regular text. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Okay.
So pretty. Purple's my favorite color. One other thing, just while we're in here, to keep in consideration, your paragraphs are too long. Google wants short little bursts, so like like that.
Mhm.
So, and I know for many of us who have English ingrained, our English teacher about don't start a new paragraph unless you're starting a new topic. That's not how we write for the internet. Just write 1 or 2 sentences
Mhm.
at a space, another couple of sentences, even if it's not an entirely new topic. So like, so that would be one. So I would start here as a new,
Mhm.
right?
Okay.
It needs to be broken up into smaller little pieces.
Okay, so I can go back in there and break it out?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Let's see. Christy left, Chalice left, Gabe left. Holly says, have you heard of Member Vault, an alternative to Teachable? Yeah, I've heard of it. That's a plugin, right? That enables you to host your membership on your actual website.
No.
What is that?
It's an actual, like, they have their own server and everything. So it's kind of like an alternative to Etsy even. And you can do 3 things for free. And it's a whole like, so it won't slow down your website. It's literally an alternative to Teachable. Yeah, look up membervault.com. And I was just trying to find something to do free resources, and you create a community. It's actually based on gamification kind of software. You can do courses, you can do freebies, and then it can be a membership site as well. And you get 3 things for free. It used to be all free, but they just made an upgrade in June. And again, I like cheap and easy starting out, especially where I don't have any traffic. And so I could do like a resource library. It is behind a password, but it's all free, and I can do videos with it and everything, and it won't slow down my site. And I just didn't know, it might be something to look into or even research. And they have a Facebook group.
A membership site. So it's to sell products.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at it now. Sorry. I'm personally not familiar with it. I mean, I've heard of it. No free, And so people have to log. Oh, free plan capped at 100 people. So is it just to sell like individual products, or is it to sell like a membership?
You can do whatever you want. Actually, it has like lessons and modules. So you could do a course, you can do a membership, you can do products. And so right now I have two products. One is like a resource library, and I have it linked to like YouTube videos, and then you get the printable for free. But then once you're in there, you realize I have a course, which I haven't built up yet, but it's gonna be like conference in a box, and you can get all these worksheets and everything for building a women's conference for your church. And so, but you see it kind of like Teachable, where if you go to one course, you don't always see all the other courses someone has unless you know to click all the local courses.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've heard of it before, and I've never heard anything bad about it. I just don't know anybody that personally that uses it.
Mm-hmm.
But you mentioned about Etsy. So just, again, this is my thoughts on selling products. I don't like to do all the work, right? Let's share the load. Etsy is a marketplace. In other words, don't put all your eggs in one basket. So if you sell something, don't just sell it in one place. Most things, like courses, are different. You don't really sell courses on Etsy, but individual products like digital downloads, things like that. Etsy is great because if you can understand how their SEO works, it's a marketplace. So people literally go there for the purpose of, it's a search engine for stuff. And so you can do stuff there, even if you're not quite yet selling it on your blog or in your own course platform or anything else. So I'm always about putting your stuff out there in as many places as possible. Like if there was a store called Bathroom Wall, we'd want it there, right? So people could see it. And does this allow you to have like an affiliate program?
That's what I was going to look into, because
Yeah.
as we kept talking about Gumroad, I was going to look at the differences. I do plan on still building an Etsy shop and having it there. And then this would be like a step up, because you can also get more of a, I don't know, an upscale, up market kind of feel, because you'll have better access to me. I can create the videos and stuff like that, because I'm very big on teaching someone to fish.
Yeah,
And so
I'm the same way. Yeah. So the things you'll want to keep in mind as you're browsing the different options for selling. This is something a lot of people don't take into consideration. So taxes and VAT. Find a platform for VAT, especially that takes care of VAT for you. So VAT is basically like taxes for people in Europe, basically is what it is. Or selling to Europe if you're in the US and so forth. So like I'm with Teachable. Teachable takes care of that for me. Gumroad takes care of that. SendOwl is a common one people use. It does not take care of that. You got to do it yourself. That's why I don't like SendOwl. But also understanding your state's requirement for sales taxes. Etsy is a marketplace, so you don't have to worry about sales tax for stuff sold on Etsy, because marketplaces have to pay their own sales tax separately. You don't, even though you're selling the stuff and you claim the income, you don't report it for the taxes that were collected. They take care of that. So score for less work for me. So you want to make sure that if you go with like MemberVault or whatever, how they deal with sales tax, depending on your state. And if you're like in a Nexus state and all that, you just want to make sure that you understand how that platform deals with it. Like Gumroad doesn't collect the tax, but you go in and assign what state you're in. And then like every quarter I have to pay sales tax quarterly for Texas. So you just go in and it shows all the sales for that quarter and you filter it by state, and then it shows you how many were made in your state and there's how much you got to send in. So it's really easy to track. So just some things to keep in mind. VAT for me is the big one, because I just ain't got time to be dealing with other countries' tax stuff. Like I want somebody who's going to take care of it for me. So just make sure that you read up on how that stuff is tracked so that you are able to properly account for yours.
all right, that's very helpful. I'll look into that. Like I said, I haven't shared it. I've just been playing with it. So
yeah, again, I've heard of MemberVault. I just don't know anybody personally that has used it to be able to like get any input on them. So once if you do decide, then you can come let us know how it worked out so that we'll have that. Yeah. Okay. Let me close all these windows. Window. Okay. Leave. All right. Man, we got some good questions today. What else y'all got for me?
You were talking about this new program that you're in now that will help you with your blogs, your content and everything.
Conversion AI.
Yes. Can you talk on that a little bit?
Yeah. So Conversion AI is this new artificial intelligence software. It's pretty cool. I'm using it. I have a few of my members that are using it. It can be a little intimidating at first when you start using it because it doesn't give you a full post, but it is a copyright assistant. So it's basically, y'all ever watch Iron Man, right? He had Jarvis, his computer that he talked to and told it what to do, and it helped him. The thing's literally called Jarvis. That's the name of the software. And so it takes a little while to understand how to tell it what you need it to give you. So you have a learning mode, so to speak. And some things are a little harder to get, but I've been using it for topics. I mean, Bible verses, Bible topics, prayer topics, anything that's beyond scripture, like how to do this or that kind of stuff. It's really helpful. It takes a lot of your time of writing down. I've just launched a new site and I've been just knocking out content left and right. I also use it when I'm updating older content to make it sound better. For me, I'm not a creative writer. Like I'm a tell you what to do kind of writer. I'm a technical writer. And so some of the creative intros and summaries. Like, I'm just like, I don't know what to say without repeating the same stuff. And so it's been really helpful in putting what I call filler content. It's a little pricey for somebody just starting out. It's $109 a month. They have this new thing called Boss Mode. It's not worth the extra $10. At least I hadn't found it. I get it for free just because I was part of their pilot program. I totally would not pay for it if I wasn't getting it for free. So I'm on the middle plan. Let me actually pull it up. And if anybody decides they want to try it out, I do have an affiliate link conversion if I can send you. But what it does is, so this is the pricing really quick. Now, here's what I tell you. If you try it out for 1 month and you, for 1 month, pay the 1 month fee, do it for the first 7 days. If you cancel within the first 7 days, you get your money back. So you do sort of have a free trial. You just got to pay up front and then get it reversed. The starter plan is not going to help you. You need the pro because this is the long form blog post part that gives you more. This is just for like short little stuff, and you can't really write a blog post with it. And again, it takes a little while, and they have a tutorial on the homepage that you can watch, but it has content improver, product descriptions, helping with blog post outlines, your intro paragraphs, conclusions, sentence expanders. Again, if you're trying to build up, it has a lot of other stuff. I don't use any of this other stuff. I'm all about just the blog post, but click on that one. So you can put in, write a blog post about, I don't know, how to, I don't know, write a blog post about the importance of reading the Bible daily. Read the Bible. You don't know what your title is, it'll give you some ideas. It's important when you use this though to like already have an outline put together. So it gives you some cool ideas. You can choose one. If you don't like what they give you, just generate more, it'll give you more. Let's see, I'm just gonna choose that one. And then your intro, and it'll give you three examples to start. You can read them, you can use them exactly, you can cut pieces from each one, whatever. I usually open a Word document, and so whichever one I don't use, I'll copy the other two into that Word document, maybe use that somewhere else in the post. So we're just gonna go with that one. Open the editor. Of course, we wanna make the paragraphs different. And it always gives you this blog post will. I don't like putting that in, I don't use that phrase anywhere. This blog post is going to help. I don't say that. It's just, I don't know. I just don't like that. That's a personal thing. I might say, let's dive in to help you understand why it's so important. Okay. So then you would go through and again, like if you're using to read the Bible. You got your outline, right? What is the best way to read the Bible? How to begin? So you would plug those in here and start to make it a heading. Why should we read? So this double thing here tells Jarvis this is a new section heading. This tells Jarvis to ignore everything above that line. As Christians, we should read. We should start. And then you can just hit compose, and it'll start where you left off, right? Again, it's not going to give you a perfect piece, but it's going to give you stuff that you can then either put into paragraphs, pull pieces out, take out stuff that doesn't relate, and so forth. And it just keeps writing, put another heading, it'll give you more information. So this is really good for those who usually have to do a lot of research for whatever they're writing about. Again, I love it for the filler. Like, sometimes I'm just at a loss of words on how to say this, but not the same way I already said it. And I was pleasantly surprised that on a lot of the things I was writing about, I was worried that it would be very, I don't know, robotic in the answer, but a lot of it, and you can choose the voice as you go into it, casual, funny, serious. So it enables you to adjust the voice of the word usage, but it would actually say stuff in the same way I would say it. So you go through and you get all this information, then you kind of tweak it and then put your headings and, of course, and then use that as sort of a basis to add any extra stuff that you might need to use. Every topic that you write is going to be different. And so the more you tell Jarvis over here what to do, the better output, right? And so that's, again, when you first start using it, it's a little overwhelming because you got to learn how to speak to it, right? Like, to get it to understand what you want, right? You ever told somebody something and like you tell your kid to do something and they bring you and you're like, why did you bring me that? You got to explain it to them in a little more detail. They're like, oh, that's what you wanted. Okay, let me go get. And so learning how to talk to Jarvis to get him to give you exactly what you are looking for takes a little bit of time. But once you figure it out, then you just come in here and it's bam, bam, bam. And it saves all the ones that you've done. You can come in here and delete them after they've, I should probably clean this out. But yeah, I love it. It's, again, the templates. If you had, this is for a conclusion. Reading the important aspect. So, and you can put other stuff in here. Again, you can change your voice or whatever. But for me, the closings were always a problem. I could never figure out how to just close out this post, right? And so, again, it's going to give you 3. If you don't like those, it'll give you 3 more. You don't say conclusion paragraph. It just puts that on there. So it gives you, and so you can use all of these if you wanted, right? Like, you could pick pieces of sentences out of each one and then make that your thing. It has content improver. So if you had a paragraph and you're like, just copy that whole paragraph into it and it will sort of reword it and make it sound better. So anyway, for someone brand new, I don't know. Some people have found it super helpful in their early stages of blogging. Others get a little frustrated with it because they're still trying to figure out how to write. But I know a lot of people who do VA work where they're updating other people's content for them or doing copyright work have found this super, super helpful. I'm using it now for editing the content my writers give me for Kingdom bloggers, but I'm also in the process. Well, I just launched one new site. I'm in the process of launching a second one. And so it's helping me just pump out content like crazy, super fast. Where normally it would take me a little more time to write it. So, and they do have a good, where's my log out? They have resources with videos to show you how to use it. There's a Facebook group for it where you can get help. But anyway, I found it super helpful. But again, you have to go with the pro plan, the $25 plan. Oh, what I was going to say, the $25 plan does not provide the long form. So you can't use it really for blog posts. But I know what a few people are doing is, whoops, close that. Like for cost savings, say you have 6 months, like if you have your blog content plan, like anyone who's gone through the boot camp should have that book filled out, right? So you know what you need to write for this year. Say all 52 posts if you're doing one a week. Sit down and create the outlines for all of them. Just do all your outlines, save them to a folder. Get the conversion AI, go in and play around, learn how to use it, and then spend a whole month, like do it for 1 month or 2 months, however much time you have to use it, and knock out all your drafts for the whole year, right? In like 2 months, and then cancel it. Instead of paying $100 a month, so that's like what, $1,200 for the year, just spend $200 or $220 because it's $110 a month, and get all your drafts, or at least a basic draft. I mean, you may need to go in and make some tweaks to it, but get that basic draft done, save those all to a folder. Then you have all your content ready for the whole year, and you just need to go in and edit it into WordPress and do all the stuff you got to do, and then schedule them out. I mean, ultimately, in like an ideal situation, you could get this for like 2 months, and by the end of that 2 months, have all your content written, scheduled out, and done for the entire year, right? And then now you've got 10 months left of the year to figure out like what you're going to do with your time because all your content's already in WordPress and scheduled. Like ultimately you could do that and then just cancel and be done with it. I have a few people doing something like that. They're just doing it for a month. They're just getting all their drafts together for like 6 months, and then they're going to cancel.
There is another way in addition to that, because that's a great idea, is pumping it all out. But if you want to have it for a long period of time, Leanne, I think you said you're an early adopter. I'm an early adopter. What ends up happening is you get multiple seats. So you can find somebody who's in a different niche. You probably don't want to do it with somebody in the same niche because there's no way for you to segment your folders to keep your content separate. But you can find somebody in a different niche who wants to maybe take one seat, you take another, and you can split the cost. And that way you can do it that way. But it has to be somebody who's on like an early adopter plan, or somebody who has the additional seats. Not everybody has an extra seat.
I have 2 seats.
Yeah, I have 2 as well.
Yeah, I'm letting I have someone I'm helping out right now. She wants to try it and see if she's going to be able to understand it. So she's using my other seat for about a month. I'm like, just do what you got to do in there. And then when she's done, I'll cancel her seat and stuff. But
it's a great way to try it is if you can find someone who has that additional seat. It's really great that they make that available. The other thing too is Leanne was saying about, how Jarvis fills in. The one thing like for Christian content is Jarvis has a tendency to spit out Bible verses as part of a paragraph.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always get them right. So it may sound like, oh, that's perfect. But then when you look at the Bible verse, you realize he quoted Matthew 8:25 when it was really John something. So you really got to fact check Jarvis.
Yeah. When they list the verses, I usually already have my verses that I'm going to use in the post. I'm looking for more of the meat. So I'm like,
the filler. Yeah.
There was one, I was trying to do one. And again, this is where you have to learn how to speak to it. It was so funny. I was going to do one about making a war binder, right? A spiritual war binder. And it was giving me my intro. War binders have been around for centuries. Military generals used to use them. I was like, okay, that's not the kind of war I was talking about. So I had to go in and actually add the word spiritual binder or prayer binder. But then when I wrote the post myself, I went back and changed out the word war because that was the keyword I needed and stuff. So yeah, sometimes it gives you some stuff and you're like, yeah, that's not quite.
Yeah, it's pretty funny actually.
Yeah. Let's see. Jeannie asked if do you do your coloring pages and PDFs as well, and do you use Dropbox? Yeah, so if it's just a single page coloring, like a coloring page, one page, I'll just put that as a JPEG in the folder. But if it's a multi-page, which most of mine, like the ones I sell are multiple pages, what I deliver to the reader is a PDF. But of course, the picture of it on the listing is a JPEG. And everything I use I have a Google Drive, not Dropbox.
I had both, and I preferred Google Drive, but I was like, oh, I need to ask that. All right, I got to run. I got another class I'm taking at 1. So,
Okay,
thank you.
I'll see you later. Bye. Okay. Well, that was a lot of stuff today, y'all. So last plug, my boot camp is closing this weekend. This is the last one for this year for anyone that has not gone through it. If you've already been through it, you want to join us again, like Joyce, I know you're going to join us again. It'll start the first week of August. So you just jump in. I mean, you're already in the Facebook group. Anyone else that has not gone through it, if you want to, the link is in our Facebook group. It's 20% off is the last link I shared. So I'm going to keep that discount for the rest of the enrollment period. This is the very last class I'm doing this year. So the next class will not start until February, the first week of February. So other than that, did anybody else have any final questions or?
Yeah, when you said you can jump in, what do you mean by that?
Just, you're in the Facebook group, Lynn. I will share a link here in the next week once I close out the enrollment to make sure everybody, because usually each new class I clean out the email segment, and so it's only the new people that have registered. So I share a link for if you want to get the new emails, that you just click it and it adds the tag back to your name. But otherwise, you're in the Facebook group, so you just partake, like whatever the weekly stuff is as it starts being released in the Facebook group. Just jump in, like join us. The Zoom calls are still every Wednesday. There's been some stuff added since you went through it. We do a lot on the site speed, a lot of stuff. Yeah. So, but yeah, just jump in whenever we start doing the discussions.
Perfect. Thanks. And thanks for sharing that about Jarvis. It's crazy. I was thinking, because I'm actually a writer, right? So I'm thinking, I don't know if I should be using that because I want to, with my integrity.
Yeah. Well, again, it's a lot of the filler stuff. I mean, remember, when you write content for your website, your blog, aside from a sales kind of stuff, a service based, but regular blog content is not about you sharing your feelings, right?
Or
your
like
point
a nonfiction essay or whatever.
Answer someone's search query, right? And add your perspective and stuff. But ultimately, the point of that post is to answer a search query. What were they looking for? You provide the answer. And so it really helps. Some topics need a little more research than others. And like Diane had mentioned about the Bible version, if you're writing spiritual content, fact check your verses, because usually what it gives you, it's not always the right verses, or that'll say in the story of Jonah and it'll give the wrong verse, right? Like the story was right, but the reference scripture was wrong. So you do got to check some of that. But it just takes a lot of the time that it normally would take. It cuts that down significantly. So yeah. All right, ladies. Well, it's been fun. I've got some Friday errands to go run. And I guess I will see all of you next week sometime. Next week will be at noon instead of 10 o'clock. Just a reminder. So, all right.
Thank you.
All right. Have a great weekend. Kimberly, it was great for you to join us today. Hopefully we'll see you soon. All right. Bye, Joyce.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Lynn.